Struggle streaming already. Can y'all hear me now? Let me know. All right, we doing good. Let's try to. That's how excited I am about this conversation tonight, y'all. It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December, and we are back with another video, man. Y'all are looking at the title, you're looking at the thumbnail. Everybody has been weighing in, giving their opinions, man. It's a lot of stuff out here, man. We talking about Will Smith, right? Slapping the taste out of Chris Rock's mouth, right? At the Oscars. I got a lot to say about it. I got a feeling that y'all have a lot to say about it. But we're gonna get right into the conversation. I got some things that I need to play. We're gonna be sharing some exhibits today, right? Yo, I came prepared. Look, I got my professional note take. Look, can yeah, I've been taking notes. And then let me tell you how serious it is. I was at my desk at work today, right? And while I was eating my lunch, I wrote down a few notes and I left that notepad at home at work, right? So I had to come home and do it all over again. And I had all of it, but we doing good though. So I want to hear from y'all. And tonight I'm going to drop the link. So if anybody wants to come up to share your opinions, please feel free to do so. But I am not by myself today, y'all. Y'all, we're gonna have a good panel. I got some backup with me tonight. I got a surprise for y'all tonight. You understand what I'm saying? But anyway, we're gonna get right into it. I want to bring up, y'all. I got some friends that are usually here with me, right? Y'all don't have to look at my mug by yourself, okay? So I want to bring up first. We are going to. I recognize this lady. Um, she got a different name, but all right. Okay. I guess. Okay. I just had to make sure that was still the same lady. Y'all, I got my friend with me, the one, the lovely Earth Day chick. What's up, Antoinette? Say something to the people.
Hey, y'all, greetings. Greetings, greetings, greetings. It's a pleasure to be here. We rocking something different for today, for tomorrow, for the rest of March. All my
Okay.
Aries, and I guess I could shout out some of the Pisces, but y'all just didn't make it.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. Shout out to you, Antoinette. It's so good to see you. And then, y'all, we got my other friend, my other colleague with me. Y'all know her best as the one and the only Alabama church girl. Say something to the people, Val.
Beep, beep, toot, toot. Hey, good people. It's your Alabama church girl here. First, giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. To all the leaders, saints, and friends, please welcome, welcome. Hurry up, get on in here. Tag a friend, tag a kin, tell them to get on in because this is about to be a good conversation, baby.
Yeah, we getting into it tonight. I hope y'all still like me after this. Woo! I'm gonna bun y'all up today, boy.
Likewise. Hey,
It's
Earth
all
Day
good.
chick.
All right. So, y'all, I got somebody else with us tonight already. Yeah, this is gonna be a good show. This is gonna be a good show. So I've been asking around, y'all. I've been trying to get some male energy in here to back me up, man. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all be beating me up pretty bad sometimes, you feel me? But I got some help today, y'all. I got my friend, my brother, my spiritual mentor. Y'all welcome the one, the only Robert Belcher. What's going on, man? Say something to the people.
What's going on, man? I'm so excited. Been watching you for a minute, Doc, and I'm ready to get into this topic on tonight. It's crazy, Doc. I knew nothing about what was going on until yesterday morning when I woke up when my wife mentioned it to me. I'm like, what
Uh,
in the world just happened? So look, I'm ready to get into it. Look, ladies, don't get mad at us tonight. I've been watching y'all for the past couple of weeks, and I've been kind of scouting. So look, I'm ready for it tonight. I'm ready. Let's do it.
So my man came in with a game plan. Ain't nothing wrong with it, Doc. That's what I like to hear. But, wait. There's more. There's more. Y'all, we got the wild card in here tonight. We got the wild card. Y'all have seen her here one time before, and she is back again. Y'all say something to Andrea L. Andrea L is in the building. Say something to the people.
Happy birthday. Hey, gentlemen. How are y'all today?
We are doing good. Thank you so much for asking. All right. So we're going to get right into it. So y'all saw what happened. So let me ask the first question. Who was right? Who was wrong? I want to go around the panel. Who was right? Was it Chris? Was Chris wrong? Was Will wrong? I want to get y'all's opinions. So I'm going to go in reverse order. So I'm going to start with the last one that I brought up. Andrea L., what do you think?
So I had to say Will was wrong. Like I'm totally against it. So I say Will was wrong.
Okay. Robert, what do you think, man?
Oh man. Yes, he was wrong. He could have handled that a whole different way. Not doing that, on a live show like that. So it could have been handled a whole different way. But yeah, he was defending his wife. I ain't knocking him for that. But he was still wrong doing what he did like that. For him being a public figure like he is.
Okay, I can dig it. Alabama church girl, what about you? What do you think?
I kind of feel like Robert. I think that honestly, both of them were wrong time, wrong place. And had they been at the bar, whatever, but we have to be mindful. I'm not down with respectability politics, but I do understand that there's a time and a place for everything, and that was the wrong time, wrong place. Chris started it, and Will finished it, but he didn't have to match the energy. So I feel like both of them were wrong.
Okay. Antoinette, Earth Day chick, what do you think on your birthday?
I have to concur to a certain extent that Will was wrong and Chris was wrong. There's a lot of underlining situations and things that have festered between them for years that we don't know behind the scenes. So both gentlemen were wrong. Like Val said, there's a time and a place, but as we dig in a little bit deeper, there's the perspective of standing up for your wife, your woman, whoever, but there's also the conversation, and which we'll get into more as we progress with this. But both men were wrong.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll give my opinion. I think that Will Smith was all the way wrong, right? And I think that Chris Rock, I don't think he did anything wrong. I really don't think he did anything wrong. Here's the reason why. So Chris Rock was at work, right? And you all notice that at most of these types of events, the Grammys, the Oscars, whatever, AMAs, most of the time, they hire comedians. And what do the comedians do? They try to get up. I'm not going to say get up under the skin, but they poke fun, a little bit of fun at the celebrities that are there in the audience, right? Especially the ones up front, right? So, in my opinion, I think Chris Rock was just doing his job. Shout out to Reggie C. Jackson. Thank you so much for joining. And we have Eben and Thomas in the building. Thank you so much for joining us too. Y'all be sure to share your comments down below. But Chris Rock was simply at work. Now, Chris Rock took it light, in my opinion. That was a light-hearted joke. And it's been said that Chris didn't even know that Jada had alopecia or whatever, right? So that's the thing. I didn't know when I first did the initial video on it. I didn't know. I had got up out of my bed to record that. I was asleep or about to be asleep. You know what I'm saying? But that was a light-hearted joke compared to what he could have said. You understand what I'm saying? He could have said something, a lot of things that would have constituted fighting words. But that what he said right there, nah. And y'all know Chris Rock. Chris Rock could have slaughtered them. He could have, but I mean, Chris Rock. You know, y'all saw after the incident, after he slapped me, he said, "Do it over a G.I. Jane joke." You know, he was thinking, "Hey, well, I let you live, man." You know what I'm saying? I could have went for your jugular. But what do y'all think? Anybody?
I agree because, like you said, he is a comedian. The way I look at it is that she should have ran with it, regardless of the alopecia that she just found out she had in 2018. Okay. I think it was a fair joke because, first off, you in shape. You have a plethora of videos that you did with fitness and everything else. And then you look good with no hair. So you could have taken it as in, yeah, you're right. Being a black G.I. Jane, sure, I'll take that. I do look good. Look at these guns right here. That's the way I look at it. But then when you put in the different compartments of, okay, it's the medical condition, X, Y, and Z. Chris has a whole documentary of what? Hair? Okay. So for him to give that dig, yeah, I get it. But again, like I said before, they had some other issues prior to that were festering, and it was a wrong time, wrong place. And they could have took that behind the scenes. So, with Will not dealing with his anger of what had been transpiring with the relationship, he should have been dealing that with more therapy and counseling with Jada. But he should have come correct and sat down. That was unnecessary at that time and place.
Now you said wrong place, wrong time. Were you talking about Will Smith or Chris Rock in particular?
Will Smith knocking him out, because if you really, like, take it to the streets. Y'all homeboys, y'all grown. You could have showed face at this live event and then said, say, bro, let me talk to you right quick. And y'all could have handled your business elsewhere. You didn't have to do that right then and there.
Okay, I agree. Anybody else? Come on with it.
I want to definitely highlight the fact that this was not the first time that Chris has taken the opportunity to go hard at Jada. So I can understand why the what seemed to be a slight jab dug a little deeper, coupled with the fact that she probably is fighting through some insecurities behind her medical situation. Even though he didn't know that, the reason I say Chris was wrong, he made jokes about other people. And we do understand that that's the nature of this type of platform. But the jokes on other people were not about their person. He made jokes about their situation, but not about their personal self. And he didn't have to do that with Jada. He didn't have to joke about her personal appearance. As a YouTuber, JD, that it's just not cool for a man to just go joking on a woman's looks. It's just not cool. So, he should have known that too. And on top of that, they stated that everything is scripted at the Oscars. So all of his jokes had to be run through production and be approved. He went off script. I think that he knew that it was a jab, because he tried to soften the blow by saying, Jada, I love you, but. So he knew it was going to be a jab. And I that's why I think that given their history, the fact that he's done this before, and I do think that Will's emotions boiled over. I don't know if you saw that, some comments were made to him. Uh-oh. Some comments were made to him on the red carpet that probably were already getting under his skin. We don't know. But I mean, he could have been like, listen, man, I'm here when this woman is crying on my shoulder about the fact that she has to walk outside like this, and she's built up enough strength and courage to come out here, and then you attack her. That's not cool. I understand the emotions, but at the same time, these are men that have been in the public eye for many, many years. And I expected both of them to have enough emotional intelligence and enough gravity to handle themselves as if they were at work. Like you said, JD, we all know it's some people on our job that we want to cuss out, slap down, and everything. But we know how to pull it together and, just write that smart email and get them up off your back and keep it pushing, because this ain't the time, this ain't the place.
Well, JD, I kind of wrote some stuff down, man. I was listening to everybody.
Come on with it.
First thing you said, Chris Rock was at work, which is true. He's a comedian. That's what he do. He tell jokes. Now, he shouldn't have did what he did, said what he said, but he said it, but thinking, they ain't gonna do nothing. It's just a joke. Everybody's gonna laugh. Because actually, if you look at the video, Will was sitting there laughing himself. He had a smile on his face himself. So I think what really happened is, with all the stuff that Will Smith got going on in his life, with all the stuff that happened in the past with the affairs and all this stuff, the man had some stuff going on in his head, right? We just had a lesson last night, mental health. The man got some mental issues going on. So what it is, Chris hit that button, and all of us have a certain button. If somebody hit it, you just gonna pop. Like you just said, church girl, we can send that email real quick, because I've sent emails. I'm in the corporate world. I sent emails, somebody pissed me off, and I'm a pastor, right? If I start that email, first of all, that's telling you right there, I'm finna get smart, right? First of all. So Will had one of those first of all moments, right? He just lost it. Look, I'm going to defend my wife regardless of whatever issues you got, because y'all talked about me when she was messing around on me. So guess what? I got to show y'all that I'm a man, right? And so basically that's what he was trying to prove. He allowed his pride to get in his way. And that's what happened with a lot of men, JD. I just got to be honest. We're very prideful, right? We got to show that we're a man, that we are a protector. So Will probably felt like he was protecting his wife at that very moment. So that's what happened. He let that mental illness, whatever he got going on, the personal issues, he let that get aside. And he felt like, you know what? I'm going to go slap this Negro, because he ain't going to do nothing about it, because we on live TV, right? So if we know somebody's not going to do nothing, guess what we're going to do? We're going to take that shot too. And that's exactly what Will did the other night. He took that shot.
Yeah. Andrea, come on with it.
Well, one of the things I got to say is, like, I agree with everybody, but I think one of the biggest points for me is the fact that we are justifying and rationalizing a behavior. Like, at the end of the day, Will, you are a professional. Mm-hmm. It has been numerous of times and numerous occasions where you could have did any of these things, but you chose on this stage in front of America to act and engage in a behavior, and that was just unacceptable. And when you go to accountability and responsibility, mental health or not, as a mental health professional, if that's my client, I'm going to turn it back to your accountability and your responsibility. Even though Chris Rock could have been wrong and they had prior issues, that does not give anybody the right to take it to that level and just go from that point. And I do believe, I agree with what is it, Baker, or I can't see your name, but I agree with what he just said, because I think that it was an easy target, and I think that Will could have handled that a different way. And so I have, over the past years, I have kind of strayed away from Jada, because I do believe that Jada is a manipulator. And I think that being that she's so manipulative, he's already going through this frustrating moment. I think it was all just not acceptable. I think accountability and responsibility, and I think what America is doing right now, yes, we're speaking up for Chris Rock and saying he could have done something in return, but at the same time, I think that Will needs to be held accountable for his behaviors and his actions. Because at the end of the day, accountability and responsibility is the key line. You did that in front of kids as well. So now you're making it seem like, okay, it's okay to react or respond in a way of this. You almost 40, 50, however old he is. That is unacceptable, because anybody else, would you have done the same thing to that person? So I just feel as though when it comes to Will and some of the things that's being said, I feel like we're trying to, and I'm just speaking in general, feel like we're justifying and rationalizing his behavior, knowing that no, you were wrong. It don't matter how many conversations y'all had, how many people then did this, how many people did that. Like, it's a way that you could have handled it, even to the point where you could have gotten on stage and said, "Hey, yo, Chris Rock, they'll be talking about my wife and her so and so and so." You could have made that whole clear and could have been taken up for your wife. Putting your hands on him is just, to me, it's unacceptable for anybody to do.
You know what? I agree. All of y'all have some very good points. And one thing I want to point out too is that Will Smith is supposed to be one of the OGs, right? You know what I'm saying? He has been in the industry for a span of almost 30 decades. You know what I'm saying? He knows how this stuff goes. And on top of that, Will Smith has been known to be, a bit of a comedian himself. I've seen Will Smith roast some people. He could have got up there and roasted Chris back, and that could have been, a great moment instead of this moment being tarnished, right, for so many. And, some of the heavyweights have been weighing in on this too. Shout out to the beautiful lie. Masculine protection is not being a blindly loyal attack dog for a woman who thinks she can flip your masculinity on and off when she desires. Wow. Yo, shout out to the beautiful lie. And you know what? That goes back to what Andrea L was saying, right? Jada has been, in my opinion, I have to agree, manipulating the situation, right? And then I don't think that Chris Rock I don't think that he thought that this was gonna be something major like it was, right? I'm thinking that he was thinking it was a lighthearted joke. And yeah, I see Alabama church girl. I see your point about making a remark about her person. However, I don't think that uh, the response was warranted, because I could see it if he had to say, "Y'all look at Jada's old bald headed." You know what I'm saying? I could have saw it. It was G.I. Jane. Can't wait to see it. You know that Will was laughing.
Can I say?
Yeah,
Can I say? Let me be clear.
hang on 1 second. But it would have been different if he had said that. And I got a video that I want to bring up too. And the fact that if Jada, right, I think that what she displayed was selfish in a way too, because it's maybe she didn't know what Will was going to do. I don't think nobody did, but that was with the biggest night of his career over a span of 30 decades. She should have eaten that one, because this was his night. And when he got up to march to that stage, she should have pulled on his coattail and said, "Hey, dude, sit down. You're not finna ruin this." You know what I'm saying? You are not about to ruin this night. And I think that what if Wanda Sykes had told that joke? Would it have been any different? Do you think Jada would have laughed if it had been Wanda Sykes? Because y'all have made it a very particular point to make it known that they had issues, right? Or whatever, even back to 2016, where Jada started boycotting the Oscars, right? And who was the host that night? Chris Rock. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that maybe it was just because of who he was. Go ahead, Alabama Church Girl.
I just want to make it clear that I don't condone what Will did either.
Mhm.
I don't know if that got misconstrued, but like I said, both of them were wrong, in my opinion. Neither one of their actions were warranted, in my opinion. Just want to make that clear because I don't want anybody walking away from the conversation thinking that I condone violence because I don't. I don't. I don't support it at all.
Is it a difference because that's
JD,
kind of
can
the
I say something
nature.
one moment? I'm sorry to cut you off because I do want to, because I'm one of the people that said we are justifying and rationalizing. And when I say justifying and rationalizing, not to put it, just to put it out there, I mean that, okay, we're talking about, like, yes, they had prior arguments, they had prior issues, all that kind of stuff. That's what I mean by justification and rationalization. I'm not saying that, oh, you condone violence or you do. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, when we bring up the fact that, okay, they had issues in the past, they did this, they did that, that's the part of justification and rationalization, because that's what we're doing when we saying that, okay, he didn't have to do that, so now we're rationalizing and justifying the reason why it's okay for him, or I ain't gonna say it was okay for him to respond in that way, but it was like, it's still going back to as Chris being at wrong and not Will being at wrong, at fault. It's like we're saying that, okay, Chris, you could have you did that wrong at the wrong time, wrong place. Will, you was wrong too, but it's like we're still putting that blame back on Chris because he's the one that initiated the joke.
Right. But I think that we're doing that for both of them as well, because we're also saying, well, the joke wasn't that bad. You didn't have to get that upset. Sometimes we don't know what really triggers a person. So, me stating that they do have history and that she might be in a sensitive place, is just to have an understanding. And all that getting, I'm just trying to get an understanding of why this man would get up on his big night and make what I consider a fool of himself.
And let's not leave out Jada out of this equation, because, like you said, she could have pulled on that coattail. She could have just put that hand up and been it. All it takes is a woman's touch to be like, hey, baby, we're going to handle this at some other time and in situation. Like JD was saying, this your night, boo. But the way we was raised, from you being from West Philadelphia, and from me, messing around with the little Tupac and got the think going on, we could handle this like we could handle this. And of course, we don't want to say we condone violence and all, but listen, we all were raised, your cousins, your friends, and everybody else. If you are considered family, the way these gentlemen have been growing up in the spotlight and in the scene, the way they have as brothers, y'all better take it to the man cave, take it to the boxing ring, wherever you need to do, because y'all got to do PT. You got to do something. So let that steam off. And Jada, I was talking to my family about it too. And on the spiritual side, if we played into it, Will being out of character, Jada been messing around with some stuff she ain't got no business messing around with. And she been a perpetrator for quite some time. So with all of her, if you notice on her pages and stuff, she's not meditating and coming back to the light and finding her foundation and stuff as much as she used to. And that's when all these different characters and different energies started transpiring with her, because what you do in the dark comes out as a manifestation of something else. And I'm not saying that due to her medical conditions or anything else is a result of what she's been dibbling and dabbling in, but it has some truth to it. And you got to think about it. This girl done did some stuff to this man and vice versa. And with the comebacks with dealing with August and everybody else, their relationship is polygamous. So if you don't understand what polygamy is, everybody's going to be like, well, why you didn't say nothing with August? That was an invitation. They know what goes on in their house, in their bedroom. So that's why Will said that there was no cheating in their marriage. They have their own little contracts and what they dibbling and dabbling in. What comes out and what we see is just what they want us to see. So what they come up with is what they want us to see. but they got a lot of mental issues going on. But Jada been dibbling with the wrong magic.
Can I ask, since you open up that door, they say that when the invitation for August to come enter into their relationship came about, he was dealing with some mental situations as well. I do believe in soul ties. Do you think possibly it's a situation that was invited into their relationship? Now he's dealing with the consequences of it.
Could
Absolutely. And it's not just the soul of August. August is another celebrity in addition to all the other souls that they done invited in that household, because you got to think about their children too. What been transpiring with their kids. This is a whole little lineage of things that are tied to it. People think that, okay, just because you dibbling and dabbling in what you doing is just you. But your bloodline, that generation goes, you came from something and something's going to come from you. And that's what people don't like to realize or are not thinking about when they kind of trying to, hide their steps or to show that they are the innocent ones. So accept what I'm doing because I'm the innocent one and I'm just learning. That's what she perpetrating.
Right. So you brought up some good stuff when you said spirituality, right? So when we look at the spiritual aspect when it comes between a husband and a wife, number one, you don't supposed to bring no one in your marriage, period. Because it says that every man have one wife and every man have one wife and every woman have one husband. So when you begin, because anyone you are intimate with spiritually, you're married to that person, right? So now you are allowing all these other spirits to intervene like you're talking about, because believe it or not, spirits are real, right? And in the only way, when you take God out of your marriage, you're doomed for what happened the other day, right? Because God went nowhere in that, right? Everything that's been going on with Will and Jada, I mean, it's crazy, right? Because they feel like since they're celebrities, they're above the law, and not just the natural law, but they feel like they're above the spiritual law as well, right? Everything that's done in this body going to be accounted for, right? Like you said, what's done in the dark will soon come to the light. And that's even with us guys, when we're doing stuff in the dark, trust, you think you're getting away with it, but guess what? Somebody's looking, and that's God. And guess what? When you get exposed, you're really going to get exposed. And even with these signed contracts that these celebrities are having, that, okay, look, this is the image that we're going to keep, but you can go do this, you can go do that. I'm telling you, that is not of God. Right? You can't buy your way into heaven. You can buy your way out of all this trouble and all of that stuff, but you can't buy your way into heaven. And it's going to continue to happen. And that's why it happened the way that it happened. A lot of people are getting exposed. Celebrities are getting exposed. Pastors are getting exposed. Bishops are getting exposed, right? Everybody. So I don't really just knock them for what happened, because we got people in the church that are doing the exact same thing, right? I love my wife dearly. I promise you. A Negro can get up there and say whatever joke they want to say about her in the pulpit. Guess what, bro? I talk to you afterwards, right? I'm not gonna pull. I'm from Birmingham, right? I'm not gonna pull the Birmingham out in church, right? I'm gonna holler at you in my office, bro. We're gonna have this talk, right? So he should have been man enough to handle it outside of what happened. Should have. So I hate it happened, but I'm glad it happened too, because a lot of people are getting exposed.
And listening to everybody, I think to me, it kind of reminds me of when we think about relationships and marriages, how you maintain your own individuality. But most of the time we don't. We get caught up in our marriages, relationships, and all those things. So we tend to lose our identity. And I think one of the things that it shows is how easy it is to lose your identity in a relationship or in a marriage, because although we see Will as this particular person, yes, like his actions and everything that he's been through pretty much goes back to, okay, you got to redefine who you are. You got to redefine yourself, because now you're letting things like this hinder you in your growth. Keep in mind, like you said, he's been in the game for a long time. This is years. So one joke out of all this time to, and use that. So it to me, or just reminds me of going back to that individuality, you really defining who you are, like your values, your morals, your beliefs, all these things, and actually holding them at core. Because even going back to the phase where she did come out about the entanglement, like to me that was a whole bunch of BS, but nobody really, like, she was getting feedback, but it wasn't a feedback that I expected her to get from saying that. And so I just think that when it comes to Will, this shows the lack of awareness that he have. And that's how I feel like he's losing himself in this process. So I do agree with the different spirits. And maybe he needs to, I don't know that relationship now, but maybe he needs that break from her to kind of regroup and redefine who he is and what he stands for.
Look, I'm gonna just say something right here, man. And Andrea, I like what you just said a lot. Everybody has some really good points, and Will doesn't need a break. He needs to leave Jada. He needs to leave that lady, and this is the reason why. Over the last
how you really feel, JD?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I ain't saying that he should leave. So don't not.
I'm saying he needs to leave that lady. That's what I'm saying. He needs to leave that lady, because once you get to the point to where, like Rob said, once you get to the point to where you people are coming in and out of your marriage, in and out of your house, your bed, your relationship, that's not a marriage.
Nope.
I don't care how you try to entangle it or twist it. It's not a marriage, and it's not healthy. That's number one. And then number two, for however many months, this lady has gone out of her way to deliberately embarrass Will Smith. Whatever agreement that they had, or whatever, call it what you want to, it never should have came out if that's what they decided to do. Okay. And with the whole August Alsina thing, he was a young dude. Jada was out of line because that's one of her kids' friends. She was way out of line for that. Then number two, had this dude in the house wearing Will's robe. It's been documented. Where do you do that at? Why is that okay?
Hey, man, just got hot in here. Yeah. That's when he should have been snapping and all that kind of stuff. That's what frustration should have been.
Exactly. Ooh. Will, in my opinion, Will was not taking his anger out on Chris for slapping that joke on Jada. He was taking his anger out, his displaced anger out on Jada and everybody else for being the laughing stock of the world for the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. And then not only that, why is it that you have to have a whole show about your relationship, about what's going on in your marriage that nobody even ever asked you about?
Wait, what's this show? Red Table Talk?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even watch it like that.
And I use that term lightly, very lightly. Okay. Hey, what's going on, Tiffany Smith? Thank you so much for joining us. So yeah, she has gone out of her way. And then the whole thing with Tupac, man, look, Tupac been gone for a long time, but it's no secret that Tupac is the one that Jada wanted. No secret.
Please, I don't know this. Give me that backstory, because I've been seeing people talk about Tupac, that Tupac wouldn't have let something happen or whatever. And I didn't understand. I know that she had a relationship with him while he was alive, that they were good friends. But I don't know
that part was a joke. That part was a joke because they were saying that Jada is never really satisfied, right? So the way she looked, she looked at Will or whatever, he saw she was upset, wasn't satisfied, wasn't having it. So he had to get up there and go slap the taste out the man's mouth. But still, it wouldn't have been good enough for Tupac, because Tupac would have shot him.
Right.
So that was the joke. You understand what I'm saying?
Man.
But that just goes to prove that Will Smith has been competing with the ghost of Tupac ever since the man been gone. And then on top of that, let's put August aside right now. We'll put a pin right there. We'll come back to it.
Mm.
Jada has gone on record to say that if Tupac was still alive, she would have married him and not Will.
Yes. And you know what? That is one of the things that came up. She said that, and she said that in on national TV, like she said it where the world could see. So right then, a man's pride is a lot. Like you just told the world that you'll basically marry another man if this man, like the respect though. It's like she doesn't respect him as a man. I'm trying to see who's the man and the woman in a relationship.
That part.
Because she's coming off as she's the man and he's coming off as he's the woman.
You know what, JD? I gotta agree with you. He should have been left her, Doc. Saying when she had said on national TV, she would have married Tupac if he was still living. So that tells me a whole lot how you feel about me. You see what I'm saying? So that tells me, yeah, we just got a arrangement, a contract. So, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Me, I'm one of the ones I can't have no arrangement or contract because I don't like to share. Right? I'm a stingy Negro. I ain't sharing nothing. It is what I'm not sharing. So he should have been left her, but his pride would not allow him. And like you just said, she wear the pants, he wear the panties or the thongs. Whatever we want to put, it is what I'm just gonna put it out there. That's how it is. You know what I'm saying? She's telling him what to do.
These preachers are cutting up tonight.
But yeah, dance, puppet, dance. That's exactly what she did. That is exactly what she did.
Wait a minute. Look, let me Robert. I'm flabbergasted that you just read them. I need you to grab your glasses because you just read them.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, and then y'all, I told it. Look, let me just put this out there right now. We usually try to keep this show at an hour and a half. We already almost 50 minutes in, so this show might run a little bit longer tonight. Okay, it might run just a little bit longer tonight. Because I got some exhibits, y'all. I got some exhibits that I want to bring up. And I'm going to bring, matter of fact, I'm going to bring up one of my exhibits now. Hang on one second. I'm about to bring up one of my exhibits.
I might need to go get my glasses for real.
Lord, look, everybody go grab them specs while JD, hold on, let me put my little self on mute.
All right, so y'all see it right here. This is your girl Jada with the smooth head, right? So let's hear what Jada has to say.
Being a Black woman and dealing with hair in Hollywood, especially in the era that I came up in, having your hair look as European as possible was always the thing. And that was really challenging, because I liked my hair out wild and curly, but nobody wanted that. So I always had to do my hair in ways that didn't feel natural to me because I'm trying to play the game. So if I'm doing a cover, everybody, no, we want your hair straight and flowy. And it's like, all right, cool, but that's not really like what my hair likes to do. So I had to learn to get the courage to just go, nah, I'm not doing that. Which is why I feel the freedom today. I don't give two craps what people feel about this bald head of mine. Because guess what? I love it. Being a Black woman.
So y'all heard what she had to say. Jada says she loves that head.
And she don't care what I got to say.
She don't care what nobody got to say. I don't know when this was recorded, but I do know that it was recorded prior to the Oscars. Okay? I'm all for people loving themselves as you should. She loves her bald head, man. Right? So why in the world was that taken that way?
Because she's perpetrating.
You're right. She got that Lizzo
she
kind of confidence.
Is perpetrating, and she is just trying to stay relevant with this situation. Because if she was so gung-ho about ooh, I'm comfortable in the skin I am and I don't care and I wanted to wear my hair that way. Well, honey, when you was on a different world, Cree sure did wear her hair natural. Everybody else sure did wear their hair natural. And then we had some gentlemen with locks in their hair. They had their high tops and everything else. So what part of being flow and free, especially on a different world, that you didn't feel comfortable to express who you are and what you are? Because when you were on Tales from the Crypt, your hair was natural. When you were doing some other productions, you were natural. So what's the problem? You must not think that everybody likes to follow what you actually did, but you perpetrating.
You know, I agree. That's that manipulation, right?
I think it's that Lizzo type of confidence. And I'm not saying this to pick on Lizzo. So all those people that Lizzo fans, y'all get up off me, okay? Because I really want to like Lizzo. I love her music, and I love the fact that she's so talented. But what I don't love is that she preaches one brand, but her emotions stand in a different place from that. And I think that's what Jada has going on too, because there's another video out of her talking about why she had to shave her head, and she makes a comment of I still, even though her head is bald, there's a spot where there's a line in her head, and she says I it's hard for me to cover this. Well, if you're confident, why do you feel the need to cover it? You know what I mean? Which tells me there's still some self-esteem issues there.
Yeah, come on, Rob. I hear you, man. Come on.
Well, like you said, she said in the video, she love it. She's comfortable with it. She don't care what no one has to say. Y'all said, just a front, which it was a front, because if it wasn't a front, she wouldn't have got offended the other night, and then Will wouldn't have did what he did. So and maybe Chris Rock heard that video that we heard, right? That she's comfortable and he can make a joke. Think it's okay to make a joke, but technically she's not confident in herself, right? So if anyone that's not confident in themselves, they're going to get offended. Their spouse or their significant other is going to feel that they need to defend them, right? Heck, I lost my hair over 20 years ago, right? Maybe before then, I think right after I graduated high school, I lost mine, and I tried to hold on to it a little bit, right? But it is what it is. And guess what? I love my bald head, right? I kid you not, a couple of years ago, I got gray. I'm just 40 years old. I'm not scared to say how old I am, right? And I tried to dye. The worst thing I ever did, guess what? I broke out, right? Trying to put Just for Men on my face. And here I am about to freaking die, swole all up, right? So my father-in-law made a good comment to me. He said, listen, Rob, you don't like it, cut it off. Right? So guess what? I wear my gray and I'm proud of it. Right? So when you're confident in yourself, you don't care what people say, what people think about you. And look, talk about me. I don't care. Right? Because I'm confident in who I am. Because who I am on the inside dictates who I am on the outside.
And one of the things I want to say, I agree with both of y'all, because I think when you think about it, it reminds me of how people be trying to convince themselves, like Lizzo, like you say one thing, but do you really believe that? Because you can feel one way, but you don't really believe it. And I think that goes back to her saying all these things, but in reality, she don't believe any of these things, because at one point you're saying, okay, be free, because keep in mind, some years ago, her daughter cut her hair off. It wasn't completely bald, but she did, and it was a big thing about that. And so my thing is like, you're saying one thing, but you're doing something else. Like, so stand on what you're saying and just give us who the real you is, because I think right now, how she's just coming off, it's just like you manipulative. Like we see, like it's like she got, like you said, that soul tie on him that it's like it's hard for him to break shake. And I know he don't like it, but it's like, what do you do about it? Well, you got to pray that thing out. But I just don't think that he's thinking about what he can do, or he don't feel as though he has any other options. And sometimes it's cheaper to keep her.
Well,
Now,
she
I
has.
I don't know about mental health wise though, but sometimes it is cheaper to keep them.
I do recall one of their Red Table Talks that I did watch, because I rarely watch them, just to be honest and transparent. But I do recall one of those interviews or conversations they did about this entanglement. He stated that they would never divorce because of their business affairs together. So, you know, that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Pastor Robert, about the fact that they have, or maybe Pastor JD said, that they have an arrangement, that they're not going to divorce. And, you know, I will say this. I can respect the fact that if they are in an arrangement, that they do their best to try to protect each other's image in public. I can respect that. Now, how he went about trying to protect her this Sunday, I cannot. I cannot, because it honestly tore his image down. So, you know, but they just may have an arrangement.
I think that. Sorry, I still think that she dibbling and dabbling, because she's now taking, for those who practice certain things. Okay, she done cut off all her hair. She ain't got no more hair.
We see you.
What contract can he break? He ain't got no more hair, supposedly. So what contract can he break? Emotionally and spiritually, there is something else that she has now taken away from him to be able to take his self back. So besides working in the shadows for himself, he needs, like you said, Andrea, a lot of prayer, a lot of Florida holy water, ghost water, bottled water, filtered water, moon water.
I just got to take it back to the spirituality part real quick. You know, when we get to talking about these arrangements and contracts, right? That the Bible speaks of, what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? So basically, that's what's going to happen if neither one of them get out of this arrangement that they have, because love ain't nowhere in that. Because if you love a person, you're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that person is happy. And a real man is going to lead by example. A real godly man is going to lead by example and be the head of his house. The hell with an image and a contract, right? Once they get, and somebody say he need deliverance, right? Both of them need deliverance, because clearly there's something going on that they need, and that's something that they can go to a psychiatrist, they can go to all these different doctors, but they're going to have to go to that main doctor that's going to help them, and that's Jesus Christ himself. That's the only way that situation is going to get better. I promise you, I'd rather leave you than sit here and just damn my soul to hell. I'm sorry, I leave you.
Right.
I'm sorry, all that cheaper to keep them. I'm sorry. If I'm going to go to hell, baby, I'm not going to keep you. I'm sorry. I work 3 or 4 jobs to take care of my 2 girls. You know what I'm saying? And put you in the house that you want to be in instead of me going to hell. I can't do it. I can't do it. So, and that's something that he's going to have to realize. Both parts are going to have to realize.
Oh yeah, and I agree with Tiffany Smith. Will needs deliverance from Jada, and Jada needs deliverance from whatever is going on in her. Yeah, whatever's going on in her head, she needs deliverance from it. But Bishop, you brought up a great point, and this thing of how he went about trying to protect Jada, right?
Right.
Is this the type of protection that women want? I want to start with. I look. Let me tell you where this is coming from.
Whew.
Tiffany Haddish. Y'all don't really know how I feel about Tiffany Haddish. I'm not gonna get really into it tonight, but she said that one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard in my life. when they asked her how she felt about it, she said that it was the most beautiful thing that she ever saw in her life. So you mean to tell me that all of this thing of Will going through what he's going through, get up on stage in front of the world and tarnishing his legacy and tarnishing the moment of everybody else who won an award. That was beautiful. The first time that a black man produced the Oscars, and that was beautiful.
Wait. It wasn't the first time that a black man produced.
Okay, not the first time, but a black man was producing, right?
Right. And he had, I think it was the first time that it was an all black production.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry I misspoke. But still, do y'all see it was basically usually you watch the Oscars. I'm gonna just go ahead and say it's part of the reason why a lot of black folk don't even watch the Oscars. A lot of classical music, people telling those lame jokes or whatever, but they're trying to spruce it up a little bit, right? And give us a chance, because it wasn't long ago that black people were boycotting the Oscars, right?
Jada was.
Yeah, Jada was. And a lot of people stood with her, right? A lot of people stood with her. But now, okay, well let's give a little diversity here, right? And then look what happened. That's why we can't have nothing.
You ready for me, JD? Because I'm hosting already.
Come on with it.
All right, y'all. I'm not foolish all the time. I promise you I got a good IQ, okay? I just like to have fun. But we were landing in Atlanta whenever this situation happened. My older sister, who really doesn't even watch TV, calls me like incessantly, just calling. I pick up. She's just landing in Missouri. Val, are you at home? Are you watching TV? They fighting at the Oscars. What? Who? I don't watch that. Thank you. I don't watch that. But who's fighting? Because I like a little gossip every now and then. So who's fighting? Will Smith, first of all, that blows my mind, because I've always known Will, or I've always viewed Will as goofy, just a fun-loving guy. He ain't taking life too serious. Why would Will be getting into a fight, And Chris Rock, what in the whole world? Will Smith, that don't even sound like an appropriate matchup. Will Smith and Chris Rock, why would they be fighting? And then she says over something Chris said about Jada. You know what my first thought was, JD? Just what you just pointed out. I said, listen, I hadn't even seen it, but how in the world is Jada out here stirring up controversy when just a few years ago she wanted them to boycott the Oscars, and now that they sitting back up in there, now she done got to fight. They really not gonna let you come next year, right? You ain't got to worry about boycotting. They gonna boycott you.
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, please have a seat and shut your mouth. No, ma'am. But with that being said, you brought up Tiffany Haddish, and I did see that clip. And I think, Tiffany had a little liquid courage in her life on that night, because I saw her going off on that reporter and saying some things that it was a little less than kind to the reporter. Now she got offended, just like Jada got offended. The reporter said something, made a comment that the reporter probably did not mean in a negative way, but Tiffany took it that way. And then she just repeatedly began to poke at the reporter. Poke. I don't think she was in her right frame of mind that night, or when she made the comment that this was the most beautiful thing she's ever seen. I don't think she was in her right frame of mind.
Is Tiffany Haddish ever in her right frame of mind?
See, and I was going there too, because this is the same Tiffany that we saw on Girls Trip. talking about putting stuff in her boot, hiding stuff in her booty. Isn't that the same, Tiffany?
Yeah, that was a movie though, but
But still,
I see what you're
That
saying.
is her
there's
real
just some
life.
lines I'm not
That's
gonna
her real life.
take.
I hear what you're saying.
I'm just saying, this is the same Tiffany that didn't read the Yelp reviews about Common. That is that same Tiffany. I don't think she was in her right frame of mind. And when it comes to, now let me get serious because I can be that too. When it comes to being a wife and understanding what your spouse's triggers are, you understand that it's not good. It's not good for us for you to just pop off. Listen, we got in a situation out in Texas this week. And I had to calm my husband down because, he don't play. And that's a big dude. Don't play with him. I had to calm him back down, baby. First of all, we in Texas. Everybody got guns out here. Second of all, we're going home and we're going home in one piece without any records. But a wife understands it's not good for us for you to get into any trouble. And I love the fact that my husband, he gonna tell you, I think the pastor mentioned this too. You might want to you might think you're gonna roll up off your mouth and disrespect my wife, but my husband will put you in check. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, excuse his French, but he gonna let you know with some hard words exactly how he feel. And it ain't gonna be no playing around about it. Don't run up on him about it either. So I value that, but at the same time, I don't want him to always have to bring that side of himself out. So if I can de-escalate, I'm de-escalating. And that's exactly what happened in Texas this weekend. I'm gonna have to tell y'all the story on the back end, okay? But that's exactly what happened. That I had to jump in and de-escalate. Okay, y'all, come on. We're gonna go leave these fools out here to be foolish, but we're not gonna do this.
But you know what, church girl, you said something. To help. You are there to help de-escalate the problem, right? The Bible speaks of a helpmate, and that's what a helpmate does. We should know what triggers our spouse. Like my wife know what triggers me, right? Don't let the pastor bishop title fool you, because I'm crazy, right? I snap quick, right? I have a temper, and my wife knows that I have a quick temper, right? So I'm not going to allow. I tell folks anytime, there are certain people in my life that you're not going to mess with or talk about. My mother, my wife, and my two daughters, right? And I'm like, Lord, you blessed me with two girls. Why in the world did you do that? Because I will flip the script in a minute, right? So Jada, that person asked, a young lady said that when Will did what he did the right thing because he was protecting Jada or whatever. And women like stuff like that. The only type of woman that likes stuff like that, excuse my friend, one of them ghetto women. That's who likes stuff like that. Somebody that's just ghetto and just a hood chick. That's who likes stuff like that. A real woman wants a man that's going to protect her spiritually. That's who's going to help protect her soul. You know what I mean? That what's come first. Woman that like violence, I don't want to be around them type of women. Going about your business. I ain't got time, right? I need somebody that's going to help me because I'm the crazy one, right? I tell jokers quick. I'm a deer hunter, so I can pop a nigga off 200-300 yards and be good with it, right? That's what I do. So I need someone that's going to calm me down when I'm about to act a fool. And so Jada could have did that, but she didn't do it because she wanted that to happen. Mm-hmm. That's why she allowed it to happen, because she wanted it to happen.
I believe she wanted to take something away from him. But before we continue, I want to shout out a couple of people. Let me shout out my man Jake Emmanuel from the Right to Real Love. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, look, if y'all haven't went over to his channel yet, y'all need to go over to subscribe, man. Such a strong brother. And I'm glad to be able to know him and to have been able to do some work with him. And y'all going to be seeing him over here on this side really, really soon, because we got to get some men chat going, Got to get some men chat going on over here. So shout out to Jay Emmanuel. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. But Bishop has some good points, man. What kind of people want that kind of energy? And the original question was, do women want this type of protection? And Rob said, "What an astounding no." I see Alabama church girl shaking her head, and she just told a story about how she had to de-escalate the situation out of town, right? Especially when you out of town, you don't know, you ain't familiar with your surroundings. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got your backup, nothing like that, right? But I want to hear from Andrea and then Earth Day Chick. Do you think that women want this type of protection?
I don't. And I definitely don't like that type of protection. I think it's toxic and it's unhealthy. And I think it just shows the level of immaturity and growth. And I think that it just goes back to the manipulation for me, because even her facial expression, it was like, oh, I'm gonna get you. It's like women, some women, I just not gonna say some women. I speak for myself. As a woman, there are moments where it's like, okay, you think you got me, babe, I'm coming for you. So it's like in our heads, it's like we're planning for the next thing. Like we know how we're gonna handle this. And I think that she just manipulated him. And I think that anybody who wants that type of security and safety, I question that, because sometimes when you grow up in a toxic environment and you don't know what a healthy relationship is, like that sabotages that, like that's self-sabotage, because you could have messed up your whole career with that. So I think that for me, I don't like the toxicness of that. And I just don't think that it'll be healthy. And I think it's something that has to be broken. And being a manipulator, it takes a lot of awareness. And I don't think that she's aware. And I think that as she get older, she doesn't care, because you're setting your ways at this point. Like you can change, but are you willing to change?
Man, shout out to the chat tonight. Shout out y'all love the chat, man. But yeah, Andrea, you're absolutely right. That doggone I mean that manipulation, because she could have easily eaten that one. And then like the comment on the screen said, if she felt that strongly about it, y'all got all these lace fronts. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. It's all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff she could have done if that. I mean, come on, GI Jane, a GI Jane joke. I mean, come on, really. And David Hall, shout out to you, man. Luckily, Chris Rock held back. That's what I said earlier, right? If he had continued his acting called Jada Potato, if he had called Jada Miss Potato Head, Will would have killed him. I mean, he might have. Shout out to Jay Emmanuel again. Thank you so much. But, I think that shout out to CG in the building. And then check this out too. Another reason that I was prompted to ask that question is because on social media over the last couple of days, I saw a lot of ladies saying things like, "Oh, that little slap wasn't nothing. I slapped my baby daddy harder than that earlier, or I slapped my baby daddy more than that. I had to go." And then people co-signing, "Oh yeah, I had to do mine like that." Why is that something worth laughing about in our community? That is toxic.
Toxic.
Yes,
And it needs to stop.
It's ignorant.
And
All of the above. And it needs to stop. That type of mentality right there is part of the reason why Will Smith felt the need to get up in the middle of the Oscars when he was about to receive the biggest award of his life. It's that same mentality that made him go up there and slap Chris Rock for essentially nothing. We got to do better, y'all.
It's the mentality and the energy, because that energy is what is off balance, because we have not had the conversations to sit down and be like, yo, you disrespected me here, there, and wherever. So we need to talk about this before this festers at the wrong time, the wrong place. And once opportunity knocks, it's going to be so unbalanced, the energy is not going to be stopped. And that's what happened. Will's energy was not able to be stopped at that moment in time due to everything that has transpired in his life dealing with his connection to his quote unquote woman.
So can I ask? I have a teenage son, and we've been through some traumas in our life, and I want to ask this to our our mental health professional on the panel. What tools would you give Will to properly handle that situation? Because I think that what a lot of our community is lacking is the proper skills. They don't know what to say, how to go about correcting conflict resolution. So what tools would you give him?
Well, I would definitely say starting off first with my process. I always tell people you start off with self-awareness. You start really identifying, like, see where you are currently, see how you're feeling. What do you feel as though there's anything that's triggering you, that's bothering you? Like, what's going on currently? And then what I would tell people, reflect that to your past. Think about all the traumas you experienced, all the things that didn't happen, so that you gain awareness that these are things that have triggered me. So first, awareness, you got to identify them. Like, think back. And then from that point, you start really healing, going through that process of letting go, moving on, forgiveness, and all those things. So I tell anybody, first step is first, go to therapy. You need to sign up for somebody because it's all about self-awareness. I tell people all the time that tools work, but if we don't understand the philosophy behind why something is going to be beneficial to us in the future, you're going to run into the same situations. So if he does not address this initially, like having that self-awareness, being able to express those emotions and go from there, then he's not going to be able to implement those tools. It's like you're going to be basically putting a bandage over it. Like you're not really healing from, you just covering it up and going about your business. So I would say first, having some self-awareness, identifying ways where you can literally, instead of reacting and responding in that way, do something different. Distract yourself. You could have laughed it off. You could have waited to handle. It's so many different ways that he could have handled it. But I think it all goes back to self-awareness, understanding your triggers, being able to identify those, explore those, and go from there. So I tell anybody, if you want to figure out who you are, because I mentioned something last time. Well, I don't think I told JD, and this will be a great discussion because I got to get ready to go in a few. But think about Kanye West and his situation. Would the situation have been different? Because we know what Kanye West is at mentally. And so I just think going back to awareness, really figuring out where you are mentally, and then working through those traumatic experiences, because we all have trauma. We all have things that, that has hindered us. But I think going back to self-awareness to really explore who you are, gain that sense of confidence, as well as building up your self-esteem, because you can be confident in your talents and abilities, but still have low self-esteem. So I think it's really going back to the core of self-awareness. So I say get a therapist first. First thing that you can do that would, because keep in mind, when you come to one of us, you're coming to us telling us your issues. We don't know you from anybody else. So that means whatever you tell us, that's the only thing that we can go based off. So gain that sense of self-awareness first, and then use that time to heal and go through that process of forgiveness and letting go and all that. And I want to say this, JD, before I go, thank you so much. I got to go to work. So if you need anything, just let me know. But yeah, I hope that helped, and I hope that answered your question. I tell people, understand the philosophy first, go to get some self-awareness, figure out what's triggering you, what's going on, and then from that point, go through the process of healing, whatever that look like for you, because it'll look different for everybody. Go through the process of healing, and then learn to redirect that energy and anger somewhere else. Or then some people, pretty much like me, you don't even dwell on it, because you have that moment to be frustrated, but then you realize who actually has the power. And once you give somebody else that control over you, then you have lost that power. So I tell people, think about what you can control. If you allow people to control you and your actions, then hey, by any means, respond how he did. But if you are in control of how you respond and how you react, going back to godly character, then like you'll be okay. So I'm gonna go, JD. Like I said, I hope that answers your question. But I got to go, so I will talk to y'all later. Okay.
Yay. Shout out to you,
Have a good night.
Andrea. Thank you so much for joining
You're
us. You definitely will be back. Shout
All
out
right,
to you.
appreciate it.
All right. Take
So,
care.
All right.
But yo, I like what she said a lot. You know, you can't let people can't drive you over the edge if you don't give them the keys to the car.
So JD, I believe in science, and I also believe in Jesus. I want to ask the pastors on the panel, what tools and what scriptures, how would you go about helping a person in his situation come to a healing? Because she mentioned having that self-awareness and then going through the process of healing. So how would you help him?
The Bible says that it's better to live on the roof of a house than to live with a quarrelsome woman.
Well, Doc, what I would do, and this is a scripture. This is one that I live by, and it say, "Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and let Him direct your path." Right, and that's the key. We have to remember, um, the enemy is real. The devil is real. So what we have to understand is that the devil cannot read your heart, number one. But what he can do is read situations. So when you allow yourself, whenever there's an action, there's going to be a reaction. Just put it that way, right? So the enemy sees everything that goes on in your life. The enemy knows your future. He knows it, right? He's peeking in your future. So his job is to try to distract you. His job is to try to take you off the course, what God actually has you on. So until you, number one, confess that you are a sinner and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ, that God raised Jesus from the dead, I mean, you're going to be in that same position that you're in. So number one, you got to admit that you have a problem. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't want to admit that they have a problem. Admit it. Listen, I did a Bible study last Tuesday, talked about help Jesus, I got issues, right? All of us have issues. All of us got some type of mental health that we're all dealing with. Yours may not be mine not be yours, but we're all dealing with something. But everything that we need is in God's word. And just like Will, Jada, all these celebrities, they study scripts and learn scripts. They need to be studying their word and learn that word, because that's what's going to help them get through whatever they're going through is God's word. So, and also another scripture that we can keep in mind is not only not to our own understanding, but also if any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. Old things have passed away, and behold, all things become new. Right? So we have to let go of the old man and allow the new man to take over. And listen, that's a process. There's a process that it ain't gonna happen overnight. Trust me, it's not gonna happen overnight. But you have to admit, number one, comes acceptance. Accept that I have a problem. Accept that you got it, and then allow yourself to take. It's just like an alcoholic, drug addict. You got to go step by step in the process, and you're gonna fall sometimes. But just remember, dust yourself off, pick yourself up, keep going.
And you know, I was serious about the first scripture that I threw out because my heart goes out to Will, because just on the outside looking in, I've experienced a lot of what he's dealing with now. But another scripture that comes to mind: in all thy getting, get understanding. You understand what I'm saying? You can get all the money in the world, all the press, all of the awards, but if you don't understand what's going on in your situation, you are going to continue to be lost. So one of the messages that I want to give to the men out here tonight is to make sure that you understand yourself, and make sure that you understand the people that you're dealing with, and understand that you don't have to deal with certain things just because it's there, or just because somebody professes that they love you, because people can love you and still do you harm. in the Old Testament, it's a brother named Mephibosheth that was
Mhm.
dropped on his ankles, and he was disabled by it, but he was being carried right by one of the nurses. She
Mhm.
meant him good,
Yep.
but he ended up lame. He ended up crippled because the person that meant him good ended up dropping him. You understand
Yep.
what I'm saying? So sometimes, even though people love you, they can do you harm and they not mean it. And we have to understand that as men, and we have to understand too that we have to remain in our masculine frame. Uh, I saw somebody in the comments just a minute ago, say shout out to Chris Rock, for handling himself the way that he did. You know what I'm saying? Because that could have went all the way left. We already had one brother that was outside of his masculine frame. What if we had two?
Now,
You know
I'm
what?
not.
Go ahead.
I'm not a pastor, but I am the Alabama church girl. And the two scriptures that come to mind when I think about, what could help him in the state that he's in is one, to guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. If you don't want issues in your life, make sure you put up those boundaries. I said Andrea, our medical professional earlier, she made the statement of maintaining an individuality even within relationships, because not that I'm not in connection and communion with you, but at the same time, when you step out of your godly place, I can still maintain, because I have some boundaries. You are in my heart, but there's a place in there. There's a secret garden in there that belongs, it goes here. It does not extend here. You got all this up here. You got all this out here. Y'all excuse my arms. But you got all this out here. But there's a place that goes up and down the cross that belongs to me and him.
That's it.
And those are boundaries. Those are boundaries that you can't allow somebody to get into. And I think that plays into what my sister was saying earlier. Our Earth Day chick was saying earlier that Jada has stepped into a spiritual place that she ain't got no business in. So I'd like to know from my spiritual sister what tools you would give him. I'm sorry, JD. I just got questions.
Well, really, like Andrea said, or Andrea had said, self-awareness. You have to look within thyself in order to figure out what's going on. Then you need to tap into grounding. Let go of all the materialistic things, let go of all the distractions, let go of all the additional influences. Because if you're supposed to be that head of the household and you're supposed to be directing and being that strength, you have to ground yourself and find some type of humility. I know a lot of people don't like the word humility, but you need to find yourself in your peace and ground and stay there. For the same things that Jada be sitting up there trying to distribute that energy, saying find yourself and ground yourself, we'll need to do that. But he needs to do it in a whole different type of light. If he needs to take himself out of the situation and also surround himself with his children, because they're still his innocence, regardless of the additional influences that have been planted within their minds from their mother, then, all of them need to take that journey to disconnect, and then could come back and deal with the contracts that they have with Jada. But he would be stronger both emotionally and spiritually by tapping back, asking for guidance and assistance, not just from his higher power, but from his ancestors, from all of the elders, from the community. And even though the community, like Tiffany, for this instance, maybe she said, they're close friends to her, but with liquid courage and everything else, that could be a bit of toxicity. You have to be able to wash everything clean and to start anew and ground and just disconnect from it all. So that's what I'd say also. Self-reflect, get it back into where do you want to grow into. You've made all these different milestones, right? How are you gonna make a difference? Because this new little thing with Fresh Prince on Hulu, you have the drugs, you got the sexuality, you have, and it's not the same Fresh Prince. For why? Why?
Right.
What are you allowing to grow? That's planting into something that you've already broke ground with.
Right.
Come
Putting
back
it
to
in,
your
putting it in
senses.
the airwaves.
Right.
Mm.
So those are the skills. It's very simple, and that's what people need to accept. Simplicity, the simple things in life. Get those skill sets back, because the ignorance is it's not bliss. It's not bliss at all. And we got to tap back to and have these conversations. I like I said, a lot of our ignorant brothers and sisters, we need to take them to the streets and knock them out a couple of times. That is the violence that I do promote, because everybody needs an ass whipping every once in a while, dealing with the teaching at hand, so you could get slapped back into reality. Because we have a mission, we have something to do for our communities, and y'all, we got to get on this path. This yellow brick road is it's horrible.
And
Yeah.
I really commend Chris Rock in the first place. Because I just be honest with you, ain't no man for to slap me and get away with it. I'm just gonna be honest with you. He actually turned the other cheek like Jesus would have done, right? It takes it takes a big man to do that, right? So I do commend him for kind of standing his ground. You know, he took it and did it. But violence is not always the way to teach people. You know, sometimes a couple of them may need their butt whooped. You know, I know a few that actually work with me. I just want to take just grab one of them by the neck and just just drag them up through Tuskegee University, right? But I
Hem them
can't do
up.
that, right?
You got to hem them up sometimes.
I
Get
can't do
right
it,
here
right?
and hem it up.
So, but what we have to do on a spiritual level, we have to remember the Bible teaches us, greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world. So we have to remember who we are, number one, right? And whose we are. So we shouldn't act the way the world acts, right? We're held as children of God, and all of us are Christians on this show right now. We are held to a higher standard, right? So we used to wear those little wristbands. What What would Jesus do? Right? And we need to get back to it. We need to look at, okay, how would Jesus react to this situation, right? And honestly, all on was wrong, but Chris Rock could have took it to another level, but he didn't.
Yeah.
Right? Me, I probably would have took it to another level, TV or not. I just got to be real. I ain't all the way there yet, guys. So y'all pray for me. I ain't there yet.
None of us are.
I ain't there yet, but it's and we have to look at our Black community, right? What kind of example did they set for our young people, right? They're already seeing crazy stuff that's going on in the world as it is. So we got to look at the examples that we're setting for the people that's going to be here after us. So that's all they know, fighting. You mentioned the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, the new series that's on, right? I'm guilty. I watch it. It's entertainment, right? But it's not like the old one. It's not nowhere near it. This is, but what Will is doing, what they're doing, they're building an empire that's catering to society today. That's what they're doing. They're catering to society. So are we going to allow that catering, or we're going to allow that stuff for our kids, right? We can only kind of take care of what's going on in our house, right? I got a teenage daughter, got a young one, right? So I can dictate what they do. Right, I can train them. The Bible teaches us, train a child in where they should go when they get old, they won't depart from it, right? We don't know what has happened in Will Smith's childhood as well as Jada. We don't know, right? So it's something deep down within them that got to be dealt with. This ain't just happened Sunday. It's something been going on for even before they got married. There's something that's been going on with them their entire life.
Pastor, I did hear some reporters stating that he recently wrote a book, which was a bestseller, that he discussed in his book. I have not read it, so let me make that disclaimer. But he discussed in his book that he has felt like a little less than for not standing up for women in his life. That he really has an issue within himself for not sticking up for his mom when she was battling domestic violence from his dad.
Wow.
Yeah. Let me highlight the comment on the screen real quick. Shout out to David Hall. I'm not sure if you are still with us or not, but thank you so much for joining us. He says, I have to go, but on a serious note, Will and Jada are in a toxic relationship that will crash and burn if they don't deal with it or get out of it before someone's life is destroyed, mainly Will's. Whose legacy was tarnished? He is, not Jada's. And um shout out to you, UT. Yeah, chat, take a minute to hit the like button if you will, please. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel if you want more awesome content just like this. I don't want to butcher it, so yeah, we'll just call you UT. But another thing too, right?
Wait, did that say pussy-ditis?
Huh? Moving on.
You know what it was.
Moving on. All right. Hit the like button. All right. Moving on. Yeah. So other ways to handle it, right? That's one of the things that I wrote down. Now it's been said and duly noted that a lot of people making fun of Michael Jackson. I can't remember exactly who the artist was. I want to say, let me not say, I don't want to misspeak, but Michael Jackson has been known to go and buy the masters or the rights to people's music that was making fun of him, right? That is the masculine. Say what you want to coming from Michael Jackson, but that is the most masculine way to handle the situation. You know what? I ain't got to say nothing. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to raise my voice. I'm not going to get out of character. But what I am going to do is use your money to make you pay me. Your talents are paying me. So go ahead and say what you want to. You put money in my pocket. Will Smith got money. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm not sure, what he could have done, to hit Chris in the pockets if it was that deep. But we got to get out of this mentality of just, trying to throw hands all the time. That worked when you were 19, 20 years old. And another thing that I've been seeing a lot on social media is, people saying that, oh, well, if you think Will was wrong, then you soft, or you're not a real man because anybody talk about my. That's not what it's about.
That's really a young man's mentality.
Exactly. And see, that's why I talk about a group of men up here and a group of men down here. That's what separates us is the mentality, right? So I think that there was definitely other ways to handle that, right? And then another thing that I want to point out that I want to hear y'all's thoughts on it as well. Do you think that Chris Rock was just wrong place, wrong time, or do y'all think that anybody that would have told that same joke in the same manner, do y'all think Will Smith would have did anything different? Because y'all heard what Shannon Sharp said. Shannon Sharp said he would have had to come out that thing. Either Will Smith would have had to whip him, or he was gonna have to whip Will Smith, and he was coming up out of that tuxedo. What do y'all think? Do y'all think if it had been The Rock, do y'all think Will would have did that?
It depends on Jada's reaction, because that's what snowballed it. That was the effect.
Through city.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, boy. Wait a minute.
All right, I'm gonna have to start screening these.
But to answer your question, Daddy, I don't think so, because I think that their history with Chris Rock played into both of their reactions. So I think that, yeah, if it was someone different, then there may have been a different response. Not because of his size or his temperament, but I think so because of the lack of history.
Well, I think if it was anyone else, he probably would have pulled that shot. Because I'm being honest, he probably thought Chris Rock was weak, an easy target. Just to be honest with you. Now, if Jay-Z or somebody else up there would have, said something, or Martin Lawrence or Cedric the Entertainer, Steve Harvey, any of those, he wouldn't have pulled that card, right? He knew that that's the card that he can pull and probably get away with it, which he did. So he knew exactly what he was doing when he got up to do it, because he knew Chris Rock wouldn't stoop to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And if Jada was
anybody else like Earthquake or somebody like that, Cat Williams, he might would have got his head knocked out. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
He probably would have. Shucky Ducky Quack Quack, one of them folks. I'm just because any of us, we choose what battles we want to fight, right? And we choose wise. Even if it's at the spur of the moment, you're going to choose if this battle is worth fighting. So Will knew what he was doing, and Chris Rock decided not to choose that battle at that particular time, because that wasn't the place nor the time.
Mm-hmm. Right. Y'all, I got to stop the show for a second. I got a wild card in the back. And y'all, this is my homie, my ace, A1 since day one. Y'all haven't seen him in a while. And I know some people have been asking for him. My mother, one of them, has been asking, hey, where this dude been at? But I'm going to bring him up now. This is the wild card. Y'all say what up to B-Mac.
What's back?
Hey, B-Mac, where you been, brother?
We can't hear you, Mac.
He was on mute.
Struggle streaming.
Say something. Can we hear you?
Can y'all hear me?
You low.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but you mad low.
I'm turning the mic up.
Okay. While he's getting his stuff straight, I'm curious to hear his thoughts on it, but I want to highlight this comment real quick. Majesty Simpson says, I love seeing him defend his queen. If anyone said to me such a wicked and ignorant comment about my condition, good thing he got punched out. Now, what was it so much wicked and ignorant?
Ignorant.
But in a sense, it wasn't, because Jada's known since 2018. You voice about everything else. So you should have been talking about it if you felt some type of way, to educate the community as you try to educate us in any way, any other shape, form, or fashion about alopecia. But now all of a sudden you want to divulge this information and now be an advocate for it, which you weren't doing initially.
And my issue is too that this is not the first time that Jada has shaved her head down low. This is not the first time.
Yeah, she wears low haircuts a lot.
Right. And she,
right.
And this, don't take this the wrong way. This is not a joke, but she has the head for it.
She does. She's beautiful.
She does.
Everybody don't have the head for it.
I say it's ignorant because Chris Rock did this whole documentary about Black women's hair and how that's a sensitive topic for Black women and having to try to fit into the cultural norms. So, sir, this is a Black woman. Why would you even mention anything about her head, her hair, make a joke in that direction? That's why I personally think it was an ignorant comment.
Go ahead, Matt. Share your thoughts.
Am I still low? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I'm gonna address the elephant in the room. So Chris Rock said she could be the next G.I. Jane movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that ain't talking about alopecia? None of that, right? It's just saying, hey, your hair short like the woman in the movie. You gonna be in the sequel, right? But are women so outraged when she had him looking so stupid, talking about entanglement?
Yo, that's what
She
we've been
had her
talking about.
son's friend come in and pipe her down, and she's mad at a joke. To be honest, if I was Will, I would have been on the ground rolling at the joke just to make up for, girl, you cheated on me and had me looking stupid. And the dude got a song called Entanglement about it.
Well, to be fair, August is the
cried.
one that had him looking stupid because August was the one that put the business out.
August put the business out, but who gave the business contract?
They opened it up.
Yep.
Because the musical manager, has always been Jada. Let's really dig into that. Musical manager Jada, who would got the invite, who got piped down, as B Max says. Come on now.
Look, Cottle, Jada has a poem book written by Tupac to her, and she recited every year. How do you think Will feel? So excuse him for laughing a little bit. And to be fair, it's Hollywood. That stuff looked so Hollywood last night. Who smacked somebody like this, Jeff? He had perfect form.
He did play Ali now.
Yeah, he did play Ali. He did play Ali.
So
it's on Alabama Church Girl shirt.
Tell me how Ali smacked somebody. Ali was punching.
But see, here's my issue with that. I don't even think Will knew what he was gonna do. I don't think he knew if he was gonna punch him, if he was gonna slap him, if he was gonna grab him, if he was gonna put him in a headlock. I think Will was trying to figure it out mid swing. You understand what I'm saying?
So I'm gonna refute that. So when Chris Rock told that joke, did you see him laughing?
Yeah.
He thought it was funny. So regardless of if he thought he was gonna punch or slap, we do know for a fact he thought it was funny. He thought it was funny.
And you know what else though, B-Mac? The whole audience laughed and then turned around and booed after they saw Jada's reaction.
That's TV. Yeah, that's TV.
Right, exactly. Chris Wingnall says August didn't make him look stupid. Jada made him look stupid. Yeah, when do the side chick make the husband look good? Exactly. Now, I want to go as we get ready to go into the home stretch, right? I want to bring up another exhibit. And like I said, some of the heavyweights have started to weigh in on this thing, right? So let me bring this up. There we go. And let's hear what Jim Carrey has to say.
I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
There was some question today about if anyone else had walked from the audience and done that, they would have been escorted out by security or maybe even arrested. The police asked Chris if he wanted to file charges. They asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no.
I was sickened by the standing.
Jim Carrey says that he was sickened by the standing ovation. What do y'all think about that?
When it's two white men fighting, that's just that.
Wow.
And that's another thing too. Will Smith should have at minimum been escorted to the back or something. And that goes to show that, black men in particular, right? If that had been another race,
I do believe security would have been up on the stage. Maybe it was because everybody was still in shock and wasn't expecting that to happen. But at minimum, Will Smith should have been escorted to the back for what he did. Matt, go ahead. I see you want to say something.
Yeah, because y'all want to know the truth. It wasn't aired.
It wasn't what?
It wasn't aired on TV. So nobody would have seen or even known about this. So
they muted it.
They didn't mute it. So TV is on delayed tape.
Right.
They could have edited it all out. However, the ratings for the Oscars were so low, they had to do something. Think about this. Steve Harvey, when he announced the wrong winner, we would have never known that. Nobody watches the Miss America pageant no more. They had to spice it up. They did it last night because or the other night, nobody was watching the Oscars. We all found out about this on social media.
Right.
That is true.
That's intentional. That's not real. You see what I'm saying?
You make a very valid point. You make a very valid point. Shout out to Chris again. Y'all watch this. He said, and don't forget, Willow wrote a letter to Tupac talking about how much my mother loves you. Is that child abuse? That's not disrespecting Will, is it? I believe you women are crazy sometimes. Yo, that's blatant disrespect. Because
I want to call it something else.
Willow, this is Will Smith's daughter. Number one. And writing it, and this is what I mean by Will Smith has been competing with the ghost of Tupac ever since Tupac died. And to think that his daughter is writing a letter to somebody that he cannot live up to in his wife's mind. How much is that weighing on Will?
I'm gonna say this, and I'm Will ain't got no balls, man. It just.
I'm a roll tonight. Gee.
But look, is that why Will did that?
That's far from true. I'm gonna give y'all my synopsis.
Well, hang on, Matt. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob, and then we'll go.
I'm sorry. Ain't no real man going. I'm sorry. My child. First of all, ain't fit to. Number one, my wife ain't fit to talk about another man who she loved around my child. I got a damn big problem with that. I'm just gonna be honest with you, right? I'm gonna put her in check right there. Don't you discuss your childhood fantasy with a child that we brought in the world together. You see what I'm saying? That should have been nipped in the bud right then and there. So from that right there tells me, dude, you have no balls. You're not the man. Your wife clearly is the man, and you're the woman.
Let's go to Alabama Church Girl, then we'll go to B Mac, and then Antoinette.
I just want to say I'm enjoying how raw and real you guys are tonight. It's filling up my big old cup. I like to talk straight, no chaser. So I really appreciate that. But secondly, JD, I was trying to avoid heavily scrutinizing Jada, but that's witchcraft. My child should not be writing letters to a memory that has passed out of my life, to a soul tie that has passed out of my life. That's something that I really should have taken a spiritual bath and washed off of me long before I connected with a partner, a lifelong partner. And then the way I'm thinking, like, she brought these children through this same canal. Like, I try not to attack people personally. or, really go there in a debate or discussion, because the way I look at it is I used to work in the Department of Industrial Relations, and I adjudicated unemployment claims. And everybody has a story, but something that position taught me was to get to the facts.
Mm.
And I love to debate. And I feel like in a good, healthy debate, the only way we come to some real solid conclusions is if we stick to the facts. And generally, if you start going to personal attacks, that means that you had no other factual ammunition in your arsenal. So I really try not to attack or even approach someone's person in a conversation like this. But to say that her child is writing letters to a man she was in relationship prior to her husband, who's gone on to his own ancestry, that something's wrong with that. That's out of order. That's out of order. Because at some point you should have I'm really trying to be careful, y'all, because the internet lives forever. But at some point you understand that my spirit and my husband's spirit are supposed to be in alignment, and our children fall into that alignment as well. And if my child is over here under somebody else's spirit, we're out of order.
Mac, it's on you, man. And I agree with you 100%. Mac, is on you.
So I'm gonna throw the human factor into it, right? So I think Mr. Robert said that Will ain't a man, whatever, ain't got no balls, whatever. But I'm gonna throw that human factor into it. Will Smith is Will Smith, big dog. He ain't Tupac. So I'm gonna spin it for you like this, and I don't take no offense. I'm gonna just say some. It might be funny, but imagine you having a kid with a woman, Mr. Robert, but her mama knew Martin Luther King. She gonna talk about Martin Luther King because he's such a high figure that that's still something she want to connect with, even though it's not there. So it's not that you ain't a man. That's freaking Tupac. I can't say I'm not a man if my baby's mother dated LeBron James. My daughter probably gonna talk about LeBron at some point in her life because it's like that's a connection she may have wanted to reach. So I can see that with Will's kids because Tupac is Tupac, and the mother is still, they're in entertainment, so she's still reaching out to that element, even though she should not disrespect Will like that. So I get where you're coming from, but it's still Tupac. It's still Martin Luther King. It's still LeBron James.
Man, I feel you, man. But and you, Mac,
you can't knock that because let's say, Colin, out of all the women you ever talked to, take that. That's in one bucket. But you used to date Beyonce. You telling me they can't bring up Beyonce?
I mean,
Like child writing letters to Beyonce.
My child writing letters to somebody that bruh. I mean, you know how I feel about Tupac.
Listen, your child writing letters to the same person you wrote letters to.
That's out of order.
There's a difference.
There's a movie. There's a movie that we all know, which is The Color Purple, right? Okay. And when Mister brought Suge Avery to the house, he told Harpo, "This should have been your mammy, right? This should have been your mother, right?" So here's my take. That Tupac was piping Jada down. We all know that. It is what it is. Right? That was the love of her life, right? Now, there's a difference between Tupac and Martin Luther King. That's a big difference, right?
Of course.
It you know, because Martin Luther King, yeah, you know, it's stories out of Martin Luther King doing his thing. However, right, but we all know the history that Tupac and Jada had, right? So Jada may have told Willow, "Hey, this is who I love. This is who I really should have married. This really should have been your daddy," you know. So in that baby's head, because listen, she got some mental health issues too, because all of them crazy is all get out, right? So, and like you said, she may be Jada is possibly practicing witchcraft. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't no telling what she prayed over them children or said to those children. So of course, you know, that's just total still disrespectful how you feel about your ex or whatever, right? I'm on wife number 2. And I would not tell, you know, tell my daughter, my baby daughter, hey, I wish my first wife was your mother. Ain't no way in heck I do that.
Hold on. So that's different from my thoughts. Did Jada actually say that? Because if so, I'm missing that from my story.
Actually, say what?
Did she say this should have been Tupac should have been your daddy?
No, he's just implying. It's just
Okay,
an implication.
that's why I was messed up at. Because I'm
Right,
like,
but she
if
said how
anybody say that, then it's time for fisticuffs and some guns. Like, you can't tell my kid somebody else should be your parent. That's blatant disrespect. The way I'm looking at it is entertainment. She's just writing just to keep a part of the story. It's not, this should have been your dad. I'm not taking it that far at all.
Well, there is a difference in being and paying homage to your past relationships and those that are seen in a different light as compared to the comment she has made, being that if Tupac was still alive, she would be with him right now. So then where does that leave Will? So the implication is that Will has no balls because he's living in the shadow of Tupac, is what the discussion and the debate is. But again, it depends on how you pay homage to whatever celebrity figure it is. That should not be the basis of your relationship. You still need to respect your husband and or your wife, whoever it is. And especially when you have children, you do not need to bring that same lineage into that. So Jada across the board has disrespected this man on all accords, especially when you start playing with children. She need to get hemmed up in the closet with the altar that she has of Tupac. Because this woman has some ties to this man. And you could tell even in how her mother interacts with her. If you watch the way Willow and her mother move around her, they know that she does something additional and is extra with how she moves on things, because she perpetrating on a lot, trying to make it seem she cool, calm, collected, and connected.
I feel you. This is the way I look at that. So let me take it back. So let's say I'm gonna use this all. Let's say we all fresh and new, and we meet that perfect partner, right? And we love them to death, right? We date, we talk, whatever, right? And let's say a year from now they pass. In your memory, you may bring it up to your kids or your mama or whoever and be like, John Doe was amazing. I hate that he died. And you bring up the good times, and your kids be like, well, dang, he sounds so good. I wish I would have met him. Is that so bad?
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
Yeah. Can I say something? Can I say something?
It's
please?
how.
Go ahead, Alabama church girl.
B Mac, this past weekend, I had a moment where I had to reel myself in so I wasn't disrespecting my husband. We stumbled up on Shaquille O'Neal DJing we were supposed to be country line dancing, but he was in there DJing. Whoever knew that San Antonio was his hometown? I was in the front, up at the front row. Shaquille grabbed somebody's cowboy hat. He was looking for cowboy hats. I happen to have on a cowboy hat. He points to me and he blows a kiss. Here I am wanting to fangirl out like, oh my God, Shaquille O'Neal blew me a kiss. But honey, dial that back. Your husband right behind you. No, ma'am. That's Shaquille O'Neal. This man is worth millions. But honey, your husband is right here. Respect this man and don't you go to passing out over no Shaquille O'Neal, because Shaquille ain't taking you home. Shaquille is not the one that's taking good care of you. It's this husband that you committed to. And I'm not going to disrespect that. No matter how exciting, some celebrities might be, dial that down. And I'm definitely not finna make my child promote someone of my past. And my husband is not my son's father. I would not even his daddy. I don't allow him to disrespect his own daddy. You know why? Because he's in alignment with all the ancestors that came before and his daddy. Respect that. That's something to be respected. And we don't need to take it lightly.
So I'm glad you gave that example. I'm going to spin it for you. So that's you being a fan of Shaq in front of your husband. Now imagine you dated Shaq. And you was with him when he was on the Orlando Magic, putting up all them points and blocks and all that. If he was to pass, and you was remembering him by, hey, little Jeanette, my ex or my deceased, he used to be the man. XYZ ABC. There's nothing wrong with that. You brought up ancestors. You can't bring up ancestors if you say we shouldn't talk about our past. See what I'm saying?
What are you talking?
No, but I think the issue is
let me piece it. So what I'm saying is, not as the fan. Let's say you actually dated Shaq. There's nothing wrong talking about his free throws and dunks and blocks or nothing. Nothing wrong with that.
Right. No, it's not. It's not.
But what my child is not writing letters to him.
Jada actually dated or talked to Tupac.
His daughter is writing letters to Tupac
because she see her mama posting the poem.
That's my point.
That's BS.
Out of order.
That's BS. That is BS.
But she's a part of it, just like we know about it.
It would probably be different if Jada has not openly said that if Tupac was still alive, I'd be married to him and not Will.
But what y'all forgetting is you do know Jada and Will are swingers.
They're not swingers. They're part of a polygamous relationship.
So we redefine the swingers?
Well, with swingers, they are in a group setting under an organization that allows the exchange of partners. Polygamy is something that they invite another that is willing to continue the relationship. See, we got to have a whole other conversation. Listen, mind your business, because I research. You got to be. I am well read and research into things, so that way we could have these conversations for our community.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I know. It's
all
like
love. This. If August Alsina can smash
somebody just slapped me.
If August Alsina can smash my wife, I'm gonna
get this holy water.
I'm gonna laugh.
Florida water.
You see, that was a lighthearted joke. You know what I'm saying? But y'all listen. The time is far spent. Look, it's got. What you say?
Y'all friendly.
Man, the time is well spent, man. Look, we done ran overtime like I figured we would. It was a great conversation, and I think we actually hit all of my bullet points. So we doing good. We doing good. We didn't get to all of my exhibits, but I did hit the bullet points, so we doing good. But y'all, before we dip up off of here, what can we learn from all of this? What we need to learn, number one, is to be self-aware, right? We need to be self-aware of our emotions and what our mindset is, right? And then we need to be self-aware of who we are dealing with, and if anyone has that power of manipulation over you. Because believe it or not, a lot of men suffer from this, exactly what Will Smith is going through, trying to live up to that bad guy image when that's not you, trying to live up to somebody that you could never be. And Will Smith has gone on record to say, that he's felt some type of way of always being labeled the nice guy. And I said it in my initial video that I recorded that even Pep from Salt and Pepper, said that she looked over Will because he wasn't hood enough, he wasn't thug enough. And then she went over to Tretch, and then you know the rest. You understand what I'm saying? And too many of our men are dealing with this, and I think that we would see the marriage rate in our community rise if these were not the types of situations that a lot of men had to deal with. Because we all know the old trope about maybe the nerdy guy in high school. All the girls look over him, and then he ends up making something out of himself, and then that's when they want to double back and all that good stuff. But I think that our men need to know that who you are is enough. And then on top of that, not saying that there's not ever room for improvement, but men need to make sure that we get on our square and stay on our square, right? And not let anybody take us off of it, because at the end of the day, we got business to handle. You know what I'm saying? We got families to lead, we got children we need to lead, we got communities that need us to step up and need us to lead as well. And then this toxic situation that they're in, we need to learn and understand that you don't have to stay in a situation that's not healthy, right? And I think that this situation has been unhealthy for a long time, and then we're seeing Will Smith unravel before our eyes. Because I like Will. I know he was wrong, and I'll still watch his movies. I'll still support him 100%. And I want Will to come out of this, man. He's one of the OGs now. You understand what I'm saying? And I want to see Will come to a place to where he's healed, because he's been drugged through the mud. He's been the butt end of a lot of jokes, memes, and don't for one second think that Will Smith hadn't heard everything that's going on, man. So my heart goes out to Will. I think it's a lot that we can learn from it. Ladies, there's no need to be toxic, right? And I think that if you are in a toxic situation, that you need to seek out the help that you need in order to correct it. So, anybody else? Matter of fact, let me go around the panel to give final thoughts. Rob, we'll start with you, man.
Well, the only thing I got to say out of all of this is that it shows all of us not to be complacent and be content in where we are, and don't just settle for anything in life. And that's where I had to get to the point in my life. That's why I'm on marriage number 2, because I refuse to settle for less. Just don't allow yourself to get caught up in negative energy and get caught up with foolishness, and just remember who we are and whose we are.
Absolutely. Earth Day chick, birthday girl, what about you?
Find you a support system. You don't have one, come to us. Let's talk about it. You could find help and resources within your community. You just need to reach out. Like I said, tap in and we'll help you out through the trials and tribulations. With Will, he broke a lot of barriers. So again, we need to give him the support. Jada, even though she perpetrating, she needs some type of support. The kids need support also. If we're gonna build up this community, we need to call a spade and keep him pushing.
All right. Alabama church girl.
I just want to remind you of those two scriptures. I know I mentioned two earlier, but I only gave one. That first one was to guard your heart, for out of it flows the issues of life. Make sure that we feel comfortable setting boundaries and not letting people get to a space of our emotions, of our soul that they don't need to be in. Knowing what your triggers are is important, but putting up those boundaries are important as well. That second scripture that I didn't mention before is to follow peace with all men. When you follow peace, and if you can see that peace is not with this person that's in front of you, walk away, because your path should be following peace. If they don't present peace to you, then that's not the person that needs to be in your sphere. So those are my tools that I like for us to walk away with our tool belt tonight.
All right, very good. Mac, what about you, man?
I'm gonna keep it real like always. Will Smith made $25 million in the movie, and to hear anybody say they feel sorry, that's a joke. Will was Will when he was in Fresh Prince, from a young guy to older. He did his thing. Jada, same thing. She did her thing. Entanglements. Will did whatever. Being in G.I. Jane 2 ain't the worst thing that ever happened to a person. We shouldn't feel sorry for him. I mean, that's just straight up. Separate TV from real life, man. We got real problems out here. We got wars going on. We got baby mama, baby daddy things going on. Separate that from entertainment. That's all I got to say.
All right, there you have it. And let me highlight this comment real quick before we go. Chris Wignall says, "Be honest, have respect for the other person, and always put God first. Faith and patience is a virtue. Love yourself better than anybody else. God bless everybody. Stay healthy, focused, and motivated." Yo, listen, I think that's an awesome way to end the show tonight, y'all. Listen. Like the video on your way out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Listen, come back for some more dope conversations just like this. For everybody on the panel, thank y'all for joining us. It's your boy JD, aka Mr. December, y'all. Until next time, peace.